Aries, this is the Star card, and this card is showing that your healing and your future are unfolding in your favor. And this is very important because 2025 was a bit of a rough year for a lot of us, wasn't it? It was kind of like a tower year, it seems like. And so this is your nervous system calming down. This is you believing that there is a better future in store for you. I think 2026 is going to be amazing. Okay? I think that this is kind of showing that the last year has been an energy clearing year. And now it seems like that work is mostly completed, or a lot of progress has been made. And so now that light is starting to shine out from us, and it's giving us our yellow brick road. Okay? I think this is the year that we really realize that we're a lot closer to our Emerald City than we realize. Okay, so let's put this into a little bit of context. And let's see what is in store for you in 2026. See, we're clearing away the old. And I think that cycle is completed. Okay, the 7 and the 3, obviously with a little tarot math, gives us a 10. So I think that we are realizing that we're getting out of the swamp. 2026 is the year that we exit that quicksand. Okay, the universe card back there, the 8 of Pentacles, and of course, yes, the Emperor, moving forward into your very best energy. Look at that. That's beautiful. We have the Chariot, progress. We have the Ace of Cups. This is the year of you receiving. You have poured out a lot of blood, sweat, and tears for your growth. I think 2025 was a year of intense spiritual work for you. Like really, really intense. And I think now there's healing, there's calm. Aries, 2026 is really coming up with your card. Okay, so it's going to be a much more empowered year for you. I think there's going to be a lot more of you receiving back, like almost a karmic reward. All that good stuff is coming in. Okay, it's time for you to receive. There's stability there with the 4 of Pentacles, and there is a Fool there as well. The burdens of last year are completed. I think that you've been through it. You've been through the ringer. You've been raked over the coals, so to speak. And I think that phase is over, and all the good stuff is coming in now. Let's select our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card, random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. We're going to set it down right here with Alien Simon Mork Ripley right there on top. We're not going to look at that card until the very end. It will tie everything together, and it will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If at any moment during this message you feel like you might know what that card might be, put your prediction in the comments right below the video. As we look around the room, we really like what we see, don't we? We see this linear progression, 1, 2, 3 majors, 4 and 5 over here. We've got fire just in your Aries Emperor energy, don't we? We've got water and water. We've got some air, and, well, we've got some earth cards too, right? I really love that Fool at the end. But the Star card to start us off, this is us feeling really hopeful for the future. I think that you are seeing the steady light of your destiny, okay? And I think that it's this intuition, it is this certainty, it's faith, it's hope, and it's trust. It's not optimism necessarily, but it's your soul seeing the path forward after the storm. You're healing, you are growing, you're getting out of the red, getting into the green, right? Getting into the fool's green. So I think that this is really indicating that the difficulty is mostly over. I think that you've been through the first phase of the Star card, which is really a lot of introspection, a lot of untying of knots, right? A lot of karmic work, a lot of emotional purging. Okay? Because the Star card, if we let that light in, shows us where our buttons are, our triggers, our knots of karma, our sore spots, our weak spots, our blockages. I think that you've completed a lot of that work. Now, that work's never over, right? Enlightenment is an ongoing process. But I think that you've you've really been through a lot of that kind of work. I think last year was mostly you working on karmic stuff and untying those knots and clearing blockages. Once we start to do that work, the light starts to spill out from us, shows us our yellow brick road. First allows us to step into our true self energy, but then also shows us the yellow brick road to our emerald city, to paradise, right? And now that fool is just skipping along the spiral road to Big Rock Candy Mountain, is skipping along that yellow brick road, okay, free of those burdens. So I think 2026 is really seeing a shift in your energies toward empowerment, toward faith, toward love and optimism, and believing that the future is going to be better, but also on that spiritual level, knowing that your life has a path going forward, okay? And this, to me, feels like clarity. It feels like guidance. And I do think a sign is appearing for you very soon that's going to show you that everything's unfolding as it should. I believe last year was chaos. 2026 is going to be bliss, okay? It's going to be gentler. It's going to leave you feeling like you're more in control of things, you know? So do things right now to prepare for this energy. Do things that feel simple and feel just kind of like, clean, and nurture your body and nurture your soul. Spend time outside, near water if you can, under the starlight if you can. All right? And create something. Create something simple for yourself, whether it's a simple meal or some kind of just a piece of art. Create just a gentle day for yourself, okay? You are on the right track. Things are unfolding in your favor, yeah. The next card is that Seven of Cups, and I know this looks like a really icky, sticky card, and it is, but the benefit of this card is that we can now recognize anything that's not meant for us. It's like you have some sort of X-ray vision. You can see through illusions now, because you've been through the mud, you've been through the swamp, you've been through last year, and your BS detector is really on point. You're very aware of the bovine excrement, so that you can step around it instead of through it. Okay, I think last year we've been through it. 2026, we're dodging that. You can see things that maybe look shiny, because the Seven of Cups very often masquerades as something beautiful and worthwhile and nurturing and healthy and good for us. But you can see through that facade, okay? It may look shiny, but it's not stable. It is not meant for you. And you can see that, and so you're not going to just step in it and then, hindsight, right? You can see it before it happens now. And I think this is absolutely perfect. You have an ability to understand your own feelings about things, to trust in yourself, okay? And I think that moving forward into 2026, there's going to be a focus on nutrition for you. But not just physical nutrition, but it's everything. It's what you're consuming physically, but mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, and creatively too. Okay? Focusing on the input. Choosing my input now. I only want to bring in beautiful things, healthy things, things that nurture and nourish me and my soul. I want clean water and fresh air. I want silence. I want, peace and tranquility as much as possible. There's still work to do, of course, But you're not going to make decisions that will lead you into a swamp any longer, because you can see it coming. You can sense it. Yeah? So one of the major things that are happening in 2026 for you is your BS detector is going to be tuned in, and the volume's going to be up. Okay, especially with that star card, I feel like you're being guided now in a very obvious and intense way, and Spirit's going to show you how to miss that stuff. Okay, you got to keep this G-rated. It's a family show. So trust in that. Trust in yourself that you're going to be able to smell it from a mile away, and you can avoid it. You can avoid it. Okay. You're seeing reality a little bit more clearly. And you're choosing grounded actions. that are nurturing and nourishing for you. Okay. This is a kind of a sober heart. Yeah. And because that sober heart is bringing clarity for you. And it's really leading you to your empowerment here, the ability to set boundaries, the ability to take control and take charge of your life, and it's really going to be good. It's going to be such a wonderful year. It's going to be a year of leadership for you. You know what I mean? Where you're making decisions, nobody's making decisions for you, and you're making choices that are going to be empowering and liberating and healthy and positive for you. Now, the Three of Swords is underneath the surface here. This is an understanding. This is you understanding the pain that you've been through. Okay, the heartaches and the separations and just like the painful truths of things. You're understanding the purpose for that. You understand what its role was in your life. You know that what last year was a chapter. It wasn't the entire story. I think that last year a lot of old memories were popping up. A lot of old stuff, okay, was popping up for you. The Three of Swords very often is us reliving past painful events. Okay, but you faced the truth and you freed yourself and you opened up the way now for healthier love and clarity, better relationships. Okay. All this old stuff, I think that you're putting it in the dustbin of history. You've named it. Okay, and in naming it, in recognizing it, you've taken away its power. Yeah. You moved through this. And it feels like it was a really difficult, challenging year. But 2026 now is free of all this. We've put a lot of this behind us. Okay. I think that you have a lot of grounded support in your life. It's kind of what keeps popping into my head is that like you've got a really good support system in your life now. You've got the right friends. You probably have a good like prayer practice or spiritual practice. You journal probably on a regular basis, you know. This last year taught you a lot about what you need in life, what your limits are, what you will and will not tolerate. It left you with a deep understanding of who you are and why you're here. Okay? And this, I think, also is like, this last year was the process of you like psychically digesting a reality that we didn't exactly wish for or ask for. Okay, that kind of painful truth. And so to me, it feels like we've come to a place of acceptance. We accept the things that happened to us, not in the sense that we're excusing them or forgiving them or enabling them or condoning anything, but saying, my past is my past and I'm not going to let it control my future. Okay? The past is the past and we will not let it control our present or our future. Yeah. And then back here we have, of course, our universe card or the world card. And very often this card is showing like a time dilation. So it feels like last year was long, doesn't it? It feels that way to me, that 2025 has been long. I say last year, you're probably watching this, it's still 2025, but this past year feels like it just dragged out, like long. It was just, I don't know. It felt like it went on and on, okay? But it's completed now. There's closure. And I think that this is kind of a celebration. This is at least satisfaction because you know what? You did it. You completed a major cycle in your life. And to acknowledge this, I think, is to give yourself some credit for how far you've come and give yourself credit for the effort that this past year required of you. And I think there's a brief pause here to kind of appreciate that and to kind of, view this period of time as a real sunrise for you. Okay? There is a cycle that is ending. It's literally the cycle of the year is ending. And I think that you can take this symbolically and say, okay, all of that difficult work of this past year, I can wrap it up. I can tie up those loose ends. Anything in your life right now that needs finishing, let's finish it up. Let's finish up the emails. Let's pay the bills. Let's have those conversations. Let's finish those projects, because let's start 2026 fresh. Well, yeah, obviously, right? You got the Fool card. You have the Omega and you have the Alpha. You have the ending and you have the beginning. It's the Fool's journey, but now it starts again. New year, new me, right? New year, new energy. This is the New Year card. The Fool, right? It's the 0 card. It's saying this year can be anything we want it to be. So let's appreciate this, the lessons of the past. Let's complete those lessons. Let's finish up anything that's kind of unresolved. And if anything is not going to be resolved, you resolve to just let it go. You know what I mean? We don't have to bring something with us, and if we can leave it in last year, leave it in last year. Okay? But start to ask yourself that question, given everything you are and everything that you've been through, what do you want the next chapter to be about? You know? I think that you are seeing yourself now as more whole, more complete. You're a little bit more seasoned, than you were. I think it was a very difficult year. I think 2025 we're glad that it's done. 2026 is fresh. Yeah, fresh, and it's ready for you to take charge. I think this is going to be a year of leadership for you, Aries. This is going to be an Aries year for sure. Okay? You've got this Emperor in this future position here. So to me, that's extraordinary. The 8 of Pentacles up here at the top, this is telling me that you want this year, 2026, Aries, you want 2026 to be a year of gentle progress and growth and like craftsmanship and like careful, deliberate effort, no noise, no nonsense, no distractions, no bovine excrement, no entanglements. You just want steady work. This is an accumulation phase for you. Okay, an accumulation year. It's not a year of pouring out blood, sweat, and tears and getting nothing back. This is a year where you're stacking. You're stacking wins, you're stacking money, you're stacking good vibes. Okay? The investments are leading to long-term payoffs for you. And this is going to be a year of slow, careful work, quality work, no cutting corners, no rushing. No frantic, hectic vibes, okay? You're ready for a slow and yet deliberate year. Doing the paperwork in the right way. You're like, I don't know, I see like you're, instead of filling out paperwork real fast, like chicken scratch, you're writing slowly, like penmanship almost. I don't know if penmanship is a thing for you, but I'm just popped into my head like that's what you're doing. I'm a lefty, and my penmanship is horrible. Mainly because when I write, my hand gets all inky from the pen and I end up smearing everything. But I try because it's important to me. So I kind of feel like that's something like it's just slowing down and focusing on quality. You know what I mean? And I think that's the vibe for you, really. But focusing also on accuracy and paying attention to the details and knowing what you're getting into before you're getting into it. Okay? You're not chasing quick rewards. I think you're focusing on the long term. This is going to be a year that starts off right. We're not hitting the ground frantically running. You're hitting the ground being productive and accumulating. It's not just about money, though, is it? It's about accumulating the right people, the right experiences, taking time to pay attention to your body, accumulate health, accumulate well-being. This card is called Prudence, and prudence is the love for your future self expressed through the choices of the present moment. You're going to go slow and you're going to do it well this year. And this year might feel long. 2026, might feel long too. But it's going to be one of those years that you don't want it to end. 2025, it felt long. We couldn't wait for it to be over. 2026 is going to feel long. And it's like, I don't want it to end. It's going to feel long because it's so good. It probably will go by fast because it will be so good. 2026 is the year where you focus on all of your tasks like the art that they are, like with the penmanship. It doesn't really matter as long as you fill out the form and it's legible, right? But you're treating it like an art form. You're treating your life like an art form, I think. It's kind of the vibe I'm getting. So go slow, do it well, craftsmanship. Emperor in this future position, absolutely. Taking charge, taking leadership, kind of a law and order vibe with you, because I feel that you're setting standards for yourself. It's kind of like coming off that Hierophant energy of like having a code of conduct, a building code, standards and expectations, and then this is the building inspector. This is the one, that part of your energy that goes around and looks at your life and says, that's not up to code, that's not up to code, this sure as heck was not up to code. And so that's going to have to be rebuilt and redone or just scrapped. And so I feel like this is really that kind of authority for you. And I think of that building inspector. That building inspector has the power to make it or break it. Has the power to shut down the whole construction site, And that's the power that you have to make decisions for your life. You have the authority to make boundaries moving forward throughout 2026. Authority, boundaries. Okay? Your leadership. This hat's itchy. Making a plan for your time, effort, energy, money, space, and your spirit, and enforcing those boundaries. Okay? Let me know in the comments, what's the first boundary that you're going to enforce that you've been letting it slip or letting it slide? It doesn't have to be a boundary with other people. It could be a boundary for yourself or a limit for yourself. Okay? This is going to be a year of doing the hard tasks, not avoiding any work, but treating it like an art form, treating it with respect because it's an expression of ourselves. And maybe for a lot of you, there will be a practical leadership role or a promotion that you're getting. Okay? Because I feel like a lot of you are going to be wrapping up some kind of training or some kind of a certification or some kind of a class or some kind of a trial period or a probationary period. And I think you're going to get the job or you're going to get the role or you're going to get the part. And you're going to get it because of your skill and because of your quality, your attention to detail. But this is a calm authority. It's not frantic. It's not aggressive. It's gentle. This is you organizing and arranging your life in a way that works for you. But you're leading the situation and bringing order to your physical life as well as your emotional life, spiritual life, and intellectual life. Something very significant is going to happen for you around like spring, summer of 2026 is going to be really extraordinary. I don't know what it is, but there's some kind of a peak energy there for you. And it might be when that might be like a culmination of something or a particular milestone for you. But you're starting it now, or it's already started, really. And it's going to matter more and more and more and more. Peaking around, I feel like it's kind of like May, June. It's going to be peaking, okay? So really just after your birthday, yeah. This is your authority over your life. Simple, okay? Nobody can be in charge of your life than you. Your life is asking for your leadership, okay? And as your general energy, we've got the Chariot card, and this Chariot really is momentum. So I feel like this is going to be a year of that steady, sort of fortified. We're moving slow because there's power. This is self-mastery. This is will. This is momentum. This is like you're driving a very strong chariot here, okay? I think that you're committed to your goal and you're not trying to just hit the gas and get there as quickly as you can. I think we're just being very steady in this power, okay? So I think that there is a particular goal that you're going to try to accomplish in 2026. Let me know in the comments what your goal is for the new year. And I kind of feel like that's how we do the New Year's resolutions. You know, we pick a goal, and then we say, we don't have to wait till January 1st. Obviously, we can start it right now, or you probably already have started it. But what is your central focus for 2026, right? It's going to be like, oh, that's where I'm really going to focus on my health, or I'm going to focus on business or savings or retirement investments, or I'm going to focus on my channel, I'm going to focus on family, or the 2026 is going to be the year of my spiritual growth, or what's the central focus? I know you're probably working on all of those things, but I feel like there's kind of something specific. It's a primary goal, okay? And I think that this is you staying focused, no distractions, being very determined. And I think that even like there's something that you've been working on in secret. There's something that maybe other people don't really know about. I feel like this is the breakout year for you, okay? You're a very disciplined person. Again, you know how to use like your time, your schedule, checklists, alarms, routines. That's going to be very important to you as well. And making sure you move your body, obviously. Right? Get physical movement every day. Incorporate that into your routine, into just your daily life. You know, it's kind of like we're going to be parking further away from the grocery store, just so we get that extra few steps. You know, we're going to, every time I pass by the kitchen, I'm going to have a glass of water, something along those lines, right? So it's just that kind of integrated health focus for you. Okay. There's going to be a year of you really staying in your lane, not getting distracted by what anybody else is doing. Okay, a lot of willpower here. You're the driver of your life. This is your life, and you're the driver of it. Okay? You're taking your life seriously, and I think that you are, in some ways, like approaching like a mastery kind of level of something. And maybe this is just like self-mastery and your ability to really direct your life in a very disciplined and a very like responsible way. So keep going toward your goals. It's going to be a very, very positive year for your growth and for your achievements. We have the Ace of Cups in the environment, in the position of the relationships. It is a good year for new love. It is a good year for you to receive all the love and affection that you want. You know, if you're looking for romance, yeah. That's gonna be a big focus for the year. But this is also just about you receiving blessings, receiving the good stuff in life, receiving love, receiving affection. This is your heart opening. This is an emotional renewal. This is a new wave of love and tenderness and spiritual connection, intimacy that's flowing toward you. And if you have your cup there and your cup is ready and open and receptive, you'll receive that. Okay? This is you saying yes to connections. Okay? Allowing that kind of tenderness, allowing the intimacy into your life. Receiving financial blessings, receiving love and affection, receiving the praise and the gratitude from other people, receiving compliments, you know. Your heart is open and it's ready to receive, and all of that stuff is there. If you open the door, that new love, that new joy is going to pour in, okay? And so I think that's kind of like, that's a big thing for 2026 for you too, is opening up the door and letting love in. Because maybe obviously you've been in that Seven of Cups before, and you went through the Three of Swords. So it may be not easy for you to open up the door and let that love in, but if you open it just a crack, all that love and joy and inspiration is trying to pour in. But that's the Four. That's why this card is what we're trying to unlock. You're trying to unlock the doors here, and allow a little bit of that joy and laughter and intimacy, and being open to that sort of the personal life a little bit more. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think that 2025 saw a lot of like emotional difficulty, And it's not going to be easy for you to open up the door and let any new people in. So I feel like that's kind of that's going to be a focus, okay? Because this feels like security. It feels like stability. It feels like safety. Okay, but this can be isolating. Okay, we want stable containment. We want boundaries. We want rules. We do want a structure. And, this is like you've got your budget, you've got your routine, you've got your structure and your schedule in your life, and you got your habits. Sometimes we just need a little bit of spontaneity. We don't want to be too rigid. We don't want to be too fixed. We don't want to have the walls up, too high. Okay. But you're standing very firmly in your life, okay, because you're the authority. And when it comes to money or practical matters and the boundaries with other people and the limits that you place on yourself, those are very good, very powerful, and very healthy. The thing is, we want healthy boundaries, not unhealthy boundaries. So we do have to open up the door a little bit and let some people in. See, if these are your walls, you got to at least have a window and a door somewhere. Okay? And sometimes, you look out the people, you let some people in. So this is the ability for you to keep the bad stuff out, but let the good stuff in. Okay? So we've got to unlock the door a little bit and allow some of this new love to come in. And I know it's not going to be easy for you because the past year was like, I don't know, I feel like people took you for granted, or like people took advantage of you, or there was some kind of a falling out with people or something like that. It wasn't the best year for relationships. I feel like this year is going to be 2026 is going to be much different. But we've got to allow it in, and it's up to you, obviously, right? Now, the last card is this Fool energy, and this is the beginning of all sorts of stuff for you. Could be the beginning of romance. This is a fresh start. This is us leaving the 2025 energy behind and starting fresh. But also being willing to be curious and to take a chance on something new. To not be so closed. We don't want a repeat of last year. Okay, so we're interested and we're open and we're willing to be spontaneous and to try new things and to do things a little bit differently than we did last year. Because we want this year to be different. We've got to be a little bit different. Okay, we've got to be willing to take a leap and be curious and trust a little bit in that star energy. So I think there will be a lot of openings appearing for you this year, 2026, that will invite you to step into them. And I think you're going to find it a lot easier to do so. Okay? This year, 2026, is going to be a fresh page for you. You do not have to repeat the old script. So in this new year, say yes to something that feels exciting, but feels kind of scary. And there may be something that you've always wanted to do or that you're going to start doing that you didn't tell anybody about. Getting that vibe again popping into my head that like there's something that you've been kind of keeping it secret for a while, but I feel like this is that breakout year for you. Okay? You're ready for a clean slate, and that's what you're getting. I think there's going to be a lot more spontaneity in 2026. You've let go of the story, the obligation, or the identity of 2025. And I think you're allowing 2026 to be whatever it needs to be for you. Like you're not putting your expectations on it. I don't think you're trying to map out the entire year. You're trying to let it kind of unfold, I think you're trying to be okay with not knowing everything that's going to happen and just taking it as it comes. But also watch for synchronicities. I think there's going to be a lot more of that going on for all of us across the zodiac. There's going to be much more synchronicities, and symbols and numbers, even color patterns are going to be repeating, and that's going to be something that's going to be very significant to you. Okay? In 2026, allow yourself to feel a little foolish. about things. Don't worry about what other people think. You do you, okay? And this is kind of like the new version of you is arriving because you're stepping beyond 2025's bovine excrement. Okay. So this is some trust. Now let's look at the mystery card. If you have a prediction, please put it in the comments. Maybe Empress? Maybe more water. Maybe like a 6 of cups. Maybe a 3 of cups, something like 9, even 10 of cups. Let's see. Oh my gosh. It's your other superpower card, the Knight of Wands. Fire on fire. And it is spontaneity. As much as you have this structure, boundaries, habits, limits, focusing on quality, there's still room for innovation. There's still room for being bold and being spontaneous and getting out of our routine for a day and going on an adventure. Okay? You can do both. And you can trust that you're not going to step in the BS. Okay? You can let yourself be kind of free. Knowing that that you keep yourself safe. Knowing that you can be spontaneous, you can go have an adventure, and you can still build the life that you desire. You know, like you're not going off course. If you're in your chariot and you're on this road trip, you can go see the biggest ball of yarn or whatever, right? Knowing that you're going to get back on the highway and you're going to keep going toward your destination. So this might be a year in 2026, Aries, of more meaningful detours. Having our purpose, having our goal, our primary goal, having our mission, but being open to life, being open to receiving new life and new love and new adventure and new experiences, finding moments of joy and enthusiasm, and finding moments of spontaneity and curiosity. And just taking a leap somewhere, but at the same time staying on course. It's really awesome energy. And if this reading resonated with you, there's an extended version where I go a little deeper into the message. You can click on the link down in the video description. Take what feels true and leave the rest.